Hello everyone, I got the Tracker Plus and decided to do a little version of Flim here using only the synthesizers and the drum synth called Perk that is in the new Tracker Plus. And I'll put this file on my Patreon so when you get your Tracker Plus you can load it in and analyze the file and see all the Aphex, little rolls and stuff, and the micro moves for the triplets, and it will give you some ideas. And you'll also have the synth patch for the Flim flute that's in there. So in addition to the new synthesizers that are in the Play Plus, there's a 16 track sequencer. So what you can do is make 8 tracks of samples and then use the additional tracks for MIDI sequencing or putting synthesizers on. You can also put the synthesizers on the sample tracks if you want to. And now the whole thing is in stereo. There's a USB audio in and out, and there's also upgraded chip inside. That is a faster microcontroller with more memory. So there's been a lot of improvements. Let's take a look at how I made the track. So I started the track by doing the Flim flute. Now the way you put synths on these tracks here is just by holding down instrument there. And you can see the different synths there at the top. And you can see Perk up there that I'm using for the drums. Synth 2 is kind of that plucky flute sound. And then Synth 3 is like the regular flute sound. So we'll start with that one. And so I made that sound. I started, I had put the sound on there. And then you hit instrument parameters. And you can see the first column there. You can choose the model. You can choose ACD, which for me is like SH101. And then this VAP is like the virtual analog poly. So that's kind of like the Juno 60. So with those two synths, I'm pretty happy. And then there's Perk right there, the brand new one, that has a full drum kit to use. And you can choose the polyphony there in the second column, the overall gain, panning, reverb, send, delay send. Then if you want to edit the sound, which is what I did to create the Flim flute sound, you go there. Now you can see that all these blocks here correspond to your silicone pads. So you can quickly select what you want to work on. You want to work on the oscillator, you can go there. So I did that first, and I got the mix set there at -100%. That means all the way to oscillator 1. So I'm just using a single oscillator, and then the shape I've got set to 100, which means all the way to a square wave. And then I went to the filter, and I selected this low pass 24 dB filter. And the amp envelope made those settings, and that envelope one for the filter envelope. Then on LFO here, I synced it up and put the ratio at 1/4 using the sine wave to give the flute a little bit of instability, analog sound. And then you set that up. That's just your LFO there that you're choosing. And then you have to go to this mod one here. And that's where you route it to. So I routed it to oscillator 1 pitch. And ended up with that really nice flute sound for it. Then go back to pattern. And you can hold down on shift. And then you see your mutes there at the bottom. You can mute the other tracks, and you can also solo if you go to master there. Let's see, this page, and you hold down the shift button, and then you can solo out that solo and unsolo. So I just put in these notes for the first one there. Then using the exact same instrument, let me hold shift and unmute that one. You get that. Then I created a plucky sound. I just used the exact same flute sound, and that is on the third track there. So let me hold down Shift and unmute that one. And I'll go ahead and mute those other two. We could take a look at that sound. So we go into, well, we have to be on S2, the Synth 2. So we go in here and select Synth 2 by holding down the yellow key. And then you can hit instrument parameters. Now we're using Synth 2. So you'll notice on this one, the reverb's different. I'm sending tons of reverb for this one. And then you can edit the patch. So, well, I think I was using the filter envelope there. So it's all zeros except just a little bit of decay. Give it that snappy little pluck sound. So let's take a look at perk here. So these are the sounds I have. I've got the kick. Oh yeah, if I go into, I go into there, and I select perk, Synth 1, which is perk. Now I can hit instrument parameters, and you see I've selected perk as the model. And then I hit edit patch, and we can see the whole drum kit there. You see we've got a kick. There's the kick. Snare. Hi-hat. Open hat. So here, now we've got all the drums on there. So kick, snare, hi-hat, open hat, cymbal. Clap, you can change that one out. Let me go into their edit, and you can see if you select perk right there, that there are different models. So you've got clap, clap plus, maracas, shaker, cowbell, that you can put that one on. So I've currently got it on clap. And then these toms that you can do a lot with. So they've got all of the standard percussion sounds in there and then some. So first I did my kick and snare. I thought that would be the easiest thing to do. Yeah, that I thought would be a tough one, but when I chose that RV2, that was perfect for that one. All right, I was worried that this would be really hard to do, throwing these triplets in here, but it ended up being pretty easy. So right in here, it turns to triplets. So if you want to turn something into a triplet, all you got to do is, you see these little lines going across here that indicate the beginning of the measure or whatever. They usually indicate the one, kind of. So on that one, you don't use any micro move, okay, the first one. But the second one you use 33, the third one you use 66, and the last one you use 99. And you'll get a triplet. But just listen for that to switch into the triplet groove. And then, of course, in the original, you've got that big 808, that it's kind of a tuned 808 that he's messing with. And so for that, I use the tom. So that's the tom I'm using for that tuned 808 that was in the original. You could do this in a mod. This is the amazing thing about these drums, is that you can, they have all these mod things down here. So what you can do is they're currently assigned to various things. Like this is assigned to perk type, movement, experiment, timbre. So various macros here assigned to each sound. So what you can do is, when you go back out here in your pattern, like take this tom right here, and I could choose one of those macros. There, like macro 1. Now I can adjust the macro per step. Can you imagine the wild drums that we can have? So I didn't really want to go too deep on it yet. They've made a couple changes, but when these macros and perk is fully implemented, it's going to be crazy. So that was just taking you through the track and just showing you some of the new features there. Now, of course, USB there, doing USB audio in and out. That's been fantastic. And of course, stereo. More to come on that. But these are some huge improvements, and it's made something that was just a fun device, has made it just off the charts. I mean, some of the percussion things that I've been doing are incredible. Anyway, that's the first look at the Polyend Tracker Plus, and I'll see you in the next one.